What up, everybody? Shorty C94 back with another episode of Shorty Sneaker Conversations. This is episode 33. So let me see if I can get a hold of our guest right quick. Just invited our guest. What's up, sir?
What's going on, man?
All right, man. Chilling, man. Just glad to have you on, man.
We'll appreciate that.
Oh, man. Well, we'll just kind of get right into it. Before
Okay.
we get talking about the kicks, if you could just tell me what was the most positive thing you took from 2020?
Gosh, not a whole lot. Um, as far as sneakers go, I guess people had more time at home to try to get stuff off the sneakers app. If there's a positive spin you can put on 2020, people had more downtime because they were at home and not at work. That's the reason I was able to grab stuff off of sneakers is I was furloughed from my job. So, I didn't have to like go sneak in the bathroom at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning or whatever. I could just sit at my home and do it. So yeah, I guess that would be the biggest positive spin.
Okay, okay. All right, I see you cowboyed up with your hat. You got the LaMarcus Aldridge jersey behind you.
Yeah, I've got a couple autographed jerseys. I'll show you the rest.
Ooh, got Rudy, got Mano.
Yeah, none of them are there anymore. It was a sad day. Rudy would bring his kids by where I worked, and super nice guy. And it was really sad to see him go. I had the fortunate pleasure of dealing with him and his, I don't want to say handler, but his assistant. And when they left town a couple weeks ago, I got the chance to say goodbye to him. So a
Mm.
little bittersweet.
Yeah, I actually I sold him some Don C hats years back when I was with Exhibition. Uh,
Okay, nice.
yeah, so he was pretty cool. I mean, it was nothing for those guys to drop $400 on a hat. I think that's when he was still with Sacramento. But yeah, he was a nice dude when I dealt with him.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
most of the,
super chill guy.
I was gonna say most of the NBA players are cool. It's a few of them where I'm like, I could have not dealt with him, but yeah,
Yeah, being in the field I was in before, I worked for a family entertainment center, and a lot of those guys would bring their kids by, and we would hook them up with the game card or something like that, and they were super appreciative of it. So, yeah,
nice, nice. Well, if you don't mind, for the people, I mean, I know who you are, but for the people watching, if you want to just tell everybody, who you are and where you're from.
okay. My name is Billy Woodward. I live in a small town north. Oh my God, Ed Porter's on the line. Sorry, I just saw that. Me and Ed go way back. Um, So yeah, I live in a small town called Bulverde, Texas. We're a little bit north of San Antonio. Lived there all my life. Um, got a wife, two kids, responsibility, being an adult. All that stuff that takes away from collecting sneakers. So definitely, definitely a good balance. My wife's kind of still supportive of what I do, and to make matters worse, I went and bought a Jeep. And if you
Oh,
think collecting sneakers is expensive, go buy a Jeep
I've
because
heard.
it's worse. But
I've,
yeah, so I have to balance both of my hobbies there, but still sneaker collecting and sneaker culture is still something that I'm super passionate about. The camaraderie, I've made friends like you, Chris, and Ed Porter, um, just the Sneaks Up crew, just all of that camaraderie through sneakers is what drives me and still drives me. We're all the Sneaks Up crew. We're all a little bit older, when we all have children and responsibilities and things like that. But we still keep in touch. Even we haven't had a show for a few years, and we still keep in touch, and it's still family.
yeah, I was asking Ucasta about that. I'm like, is SA Sneaks Up still a thing? And he kind of said the same thing you did. So
Yeah, it's a thing when we have time, and time is very precious.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay. if you don't mind, I was gonna kind of just jump into some sneaker origins and ask you
Okay.
what was your earliest sneaker memory or moment.
Oh man, I'm glad we've got time. When I was when I was little, and I'm gonna say, well, Fresh Prince started in '90. My I saw Will Smith wearing this shoe that glowed, and it was the Jordan 5, and the tongue was glowing, and I couldn't figure out why. Of course, I'm like 12 or 11 at the time, so I didn't know what 3M reflective material was. And I was like, holy crap, those shoes don't have laces in them. How's he doing that? It was just like a magical sneaker to me. And so I I begged and I begged and I, did chores around the house. And I remember my mom, and again, we're living in very rural Texas hill country. So to go to the mall was a 30-minute, 45-minute drive. So
Mm.
this wasn't like just going, 5 minutes away. So I begged and I pleaded my mom, and she finally gave in. And we were so excited. I was so excited. I was going to get me some Air Jordan sneakers. And then we go to Foot Locker, and they've got them up on the wall with the light pointed right at them. You know, big selling point. I picked up the shoe off the wall. My mom took it out of my hand and she looked at it, and then she saw the price tag. And then I got yelled at for driving all that way for a shoe that was over $100. And back then, in '90, $100 is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And so for a 12-year-old to ask for $100 shoe that he's probably still going to outgrow, that didn't go over too well. So fast forward a little bit later, my dad and me and my father have had an amazing relationship, but we made a bet on some Air Command Forces. My dad bet me that I couldn't get all A's in school, and I was like, got you. And so I busted my ass, I got all A's in school, and we went to another place here in town called Good Sports. And again, shoes on the wall. And this was David Robinson's first shoe. It was a big deal for San Antonio because we finally had a superstar here that had his own deal with Nike. And the Command Force was super popular down here. And so he pulled it off the wall. And again, it was like $120. And my dad flipped out. Like, he had no idea. Like, my mom told him, like, you better watch out. And he's like, no, 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 I got it. And sure enough, and my dad tried to back out of it, but my mom like, no, you made a bet. You've got to hold up to your end of the deal. And so I got a pair of Command Forces, and I wore those things to the bottoms were just flat. There was the herringbone on the bottom was gone. I wore them and did all my MC Hammer dances at the school dances and all that stuff in those shoes. I burned them to the ground. But that shoe will always be my number one grail because it was the only pair of shoes that my dad ever bought for me. Everything else I had to earn.
Wow.
But that is a lot of sentimental value.
Now, which colorway was it? Was it the Hoyle or was it the Spurs?
It was the Hoyle. The Hoyle was the first one. I've since, when they retroed them, I got a pair of Hyper Jades too. But the Royals came out, or the Hoyles came out first. And so that was a big deal down here. Again, the Spurs, even back then, were super small market. You know, there was talk of the Spurs leaving until David showed up.
Wow.
Because I don't know if you know about when David was drafted, he had to do his 2-year military commitment.
Yeah,
And because of those 2 years, his
mm-hmm.
contract technically was void. He could have signed with the Lakers. He could have signed with any team he wanted, but he held up his commitment to San Antonio, and then it just snowballed from there. And then, he gets hurt. We get Tim Duncan 5 championships later. I'm a big sports guy, so all of that was all of that spurred off of that shoe. No pun intended.
Nah, I mean, I was thrilled when they retroed it in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't thrilled at the price point, but I kind of understood it because, the year prior, or maybe even 2 years prior, they did that 180 retro, and it was so different than how the shoe actually looked.
Yeah, that was a big disappointment.
They cut off like the whole. It was just, it was bad.
Yeah, it was. That one was to the point where I didn't even try. Like the bottom was okay, but the top they had just ruined it, and I didn't even try. And it sat on shelves. It went on clearance, and then ended up at Ross, and it just went away.
Yeah, like the only colorway I remember selling well was the glow in the dark one, and that's because Jay-Z and Kanye kept popping up in them.
Right.
Hype on those, but that was the only one I really sold well at exhibition. Yep. Okay. So, the Command Force, fair to say between that and the 5s, those.
Yeah, the 5s got me started, but the Command Force really hit home.
Okay. Now, how many colorways of the 14 retro did you? I know you got the Jades, but
I got 2 pairs of Royals, I got 2 pairs of Jades, I got 1 pair of the Ultramarines, just because I didn't really like that one when it came out. I didn't get any of the non-retro color. I mean, the non-OG colorways. The black one didn't do anything for me. Wasn't there a denim one, I think?
And it was a denim one, and then it was like an all red one.
Yeah, and I was like, no, thank you. I'll just stick with it. And that's mainly my collection too, is OG colorways. I don't really, unless it's something that really pops for me, like the Cool Gray 3 or something like that. But other than that, it's usually just OG colorways.
Now I'm gonna hit you with something. Now I did buy the black Command Force because I really feel like a lot of these shoes, I'll say half of the new colorways, I really feel like they came up with back then. They just didn't come out with.
Right.
Those look like those could have came out back in '99.
The black ones, yeah. If they went with a black shoe, like a playoff style shoe, that one would have definitely fit.
Yeah, but yeah, like I couldn't get in the denim one, and the red one just reminded me of. Well, they won't give us the Quantum Force, so they'll just make the Command Force all red. So it's
right.
So
yeah, there's a couple of those colorways that would have looked good on something else, or like you said, belong on something else, just not that shoe.
Yeah. Now, before we continue, I have to ask because again, I mean, you Spurs fan, and David Robinson. Other than Gervin, because y'all did have Gervin, he had the.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little different.
Yeah, I had the blazer.
Yeah, I wish they would come out with a blazer that just says Iceman on the back. They could do it. I don't know why they won't, but
they did that one that was all reflective.
Yeah, but it wasn't only like 24 of them. There's some old crazy.
I don't know if it was that low. I know one of the Sneaks Up guys has a pair.
Okay.
But I don't know if they were that limited quantity, but yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that pair. I remember seeing them on Nike Talk, but I thought it was only like 24 or 48 of them or something.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
But
now what they should have done is given you 44 because that was his number.
Yeah,
I would think.
Or 444.
444 would have worked as well. Then I would have been able to get a pair.
Yeah, because I have that. I have that shirt. My dad used to have that poster when I was smaller. So
nice.
Yeah, because he was all about before Magic and Bird came. He was all about Gervin. So he even had his jersey. So
yeah, he actually lives not too far from where I live. I'll run into him at the grocery store, and I definitely see him at the golf course a lot. Like we're just like, oh, there's Mr. Gervin, like, and he's another one that's just super nice.
Wow. Just see George Gervin just hanging out in the neighborhood.
Yeah, hanging out at the grocery store, like the little grocery store. It's a place called HEB, and it's out here in Bulverde, and he's just there, just getting groceries like a normal person.
That's cool. Yeah, man. Well, with David Robinson, he had a couple of shoes that were his shoes. They weren't really his shoes. Sort of like a lot of the Barkleys and the Pippins. Do you have a favorite one? Is it still the Command Force, or is it like?
Oh, for sure. There's been a couple of them that have retroed, and I'm like, man, I know David wore that shoe, but I'll pass.
Yeah, the Too Strong.
Yeah, the Too Strong was one of them.
Yeah, I had a pair of regular Air Strongs, but they finally gave out on me a couple years ago. I would say, but yeah, I wish they went deeper into the catalogs. I feel like with Nike basketball retros, it's like they feel same 12 to 15 models, if it's even that many. and they'll just start over again.
Yeah, it's just a cycle.
You know, like I still consider the Foamposite Max more of a Tim Duncan than a David Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Both wore them, but I'm sure we'll get that this year or next. This is supposed to come back, but
That shoe weighs 37 pounds.
hey, I tried to play in it once in my original pair back when they were new, and yeah, it was an awful experience. I was outside too, on top of it, so it was awful.
Yeah, the last time I wore mine, I wore them to Tim's retirement ceremony, and I remember I was like, because you have to walk a fairways to the AT&T Center from where you park. Man, it was like wearing weights on my shoes. My legs were tired afterwards.
Oh man,
That shoe weighs so much.
yeah. Another random thing. This was years ago. I remember you commented on a picture because I wore some Richard East. You were like, he played so bad for us. How could you wear that shoe? Whenever I do, I think of you saying that years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I relate a lot of sneakers, especially basketball sneakers, to sports. Like if somebody played in that shoe and I didn't like that guy, I'm not getting the shoe. No matter what. Like I have that memory. Like there used to be a guy for the Spurs and me and some buddies, we always say, who's the Spur you hate the most? Like everybody has their favorite Spur. But who's the Spur you hated the most? And there's a guy named Carl Herrera. Carl Herrera used to play for Houston, and then he played for San Antonio. That guy's terrible. And he could have worn a pair of OG ones, like special for him. Wouldn't matter. Wouldn't buy it. Just because it associates with that jackass Carl Herrera.
Oh man. I knew he played for Houston because I remember him in that '94 finals, but
yeah, he played for San Antonio, I think in '97 or '8. I know he wasn't on the '99 championship team, thank God. But yeah, he was horrible as a Spur.
Well, I got to tell you, as a Laker fan, I've got plenty of Spurs that I hate. But
I'm sure. I got a few Lakers that I. Derek Fisher is not my favorite.
What? Because it's the .4 shot.
.4, yeah.
Oh man, I remember when that shot happened. I remember I was staying at my mom's, so I was in between places, and I remember yelling so loud that I woke up her and her neighbor because I couldn't believe it. After Tim Duncan hit that shot over Shaq and Karl Malone.
Well, okay, here's the deal: if Derek Fisher doesn't happen, that is the defining moment in Tim Duncan's career. That is it. That is his buzzer beater. That is his defining moment. That's his Kobe Bryant moment. That's his Michael Jordan moment. But then Derek Fisher comes back and ruins it.
I mean, it's been so many Tim Duncan moments, though. But I get
for sure.
I get you.
Yeah, but that one, that would have. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would that have eliminated LA?
No, but
I don't remember.
It would have eliminated, but I think it would have been.
Or would it gone back to LA with like a 3-1 lead or something?
Yeah,
like
it would have been something like that. I think they would have went ahead in the series instead. It ended up being tied or something.
God, and I remember down here, like me and again, I can tell you there are a few defining moments where I can tell you exactly where I was when it happened, sports wise. And I was sitting with my dad and we were watching this game and we're flipping out because Duncan hits the shot and we're like, it's .4. There's no way they're going to make it. We were just celebrating. And then the shot happened and we were silent. My mom comes in the room and she's like, did something happen? She wasn't paying attention. And we were just stunned. It was just dead silent, like somebody had died. It was horrible. The feeling that you have on the losing end of something like that is horrible. Yeah.
I'll just say for me, why I was happy. I mean, part of it was because it was y'all. Because y'all, like, I'll say from 97, 98 till probably 2012, it was always marked. The Lakers play the Spurs. Like, I got
Yep.
here, I got to see it. I can't miss it. No matter how bad the Lakers were, those years after Shaq, before Gasol were rough. I had to see y'all, and it was always a pleasure seeing the Lakers and the Spurs go back and forth. So, and I feel like even though we got each other, I feel like y'all used to have our number a lot, because
Yeah.
we should have won in 2004. We shouldn't have beat y'all.
Yeah. One of my, up until a little over a year ago, my favorite Kobe Bryant moment when he was crying on the bench in San Antonio at the Alamodome. Obviously things have happened and that's not a good memory anymore, but at that time it was.
Yeah, this is us. You ain't got to say that. I know what it is. I mean, I couldn't believe that y'all beat us in 2003, but in a way I could, because the Lakers were flat the whole year. Like, they just weren't right. Like, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Years with the Spurs, they just certain years they just had it, and some years they didn't. And then for y'all to mollywop the Cavs, because I'm from Cleveland, even though I live in now. The Cavs had no chance of beating the Spurs in 2007. Like, no chance.
Well, LeBron was completely gassed from that Boston series.
Yeah.
Like, I had never seen a performance like that where he put the entire team on his back. But by the time he got done beating Boston, or no, I'm sorry, Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit, where he single-handedly beat Detroit, and he literally did. By the time he got to San Antonio, he was completely gassed.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't a fair... Yeah, it was cool that we swept him, but it wasn't a fair test to LeBron because he was done.
Yeah. Now, I got to ask you this. Don't get mad.
I'll never get mad.
If that thing with Ori and Nash had happened, would y'all have still went? I know.
No, we wouldn't have beat them. Absolutely not. I call it like I see it, and no, we would not have won that.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know who orchestrated that, but it happened, and I'm not going to turn down a win. But yeah, I'll give you that one for sure.
And again, before we get back to the kicks, I do have to say, that's in a way you said that. That's how I feel about the 04 Lakers, because that whole year with Gary Payton and Karl Malone, I mean, they never really should have did that, but I understand why they did it. I didn't think it was.
We're about to run in that same situation this year.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But we shouldn't have beat y'all. We shouldn't have beat Minnesota, and then Detroit had finally caught up to us.
Mm-hmm.
We should have beat the Pistons. With the team that we had, but they just were a better team, Lakers, at that point. So, I was happy the Lakers got to the finals. I was happy they made it, but I was not happy that they didn't win. So, but it's all good. I like this because I told my wife a little while back, I'm like, if I wasn't into sports, it's certain sneakers I wouldn't own. Like, I just wouldn't.
Oh, I wouldn't own any sneakers if it wasn't for sports. Like, that was the go-between between me and sneakers and sneaker culture was sports. A lot of people, it was music or, just where you lived. I didn't have that. I grew up in literally Hicktown, USA, Texas Hill Country. There's no street culture. There's no sneaker culture. There's no any of that. There's the local high school football team and the agriculture department that's it. So my relation to sneakers and sneaker culture was through sports.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I always say, I mean, especially the era we're from, product placement from shows like The Fresh Prince and Martin and Different World. Shows like that. Tim Toolman Taylor used to wear a lot of kicks too. A lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Did Blossom as well. But you see the sneakers there, of course the sports, the hip hop, and it's like almost a holy trinity, so to speak,
For sure.
Sneakers, hip hop, sports with the product placement. So um, that's definitely a factor to where I can't see the Jordan 5 and not think of the Fresh Prince.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. No, he did more in that shoe than Michael did. Michael
absolutely.
didn't win a championship in that shoe. Michael, he didn't hit a big shot like he did in the 4. So the 5, they owe a lot to Will Smith for that,
Oh yeah,
or whoever's in charge of the wardrobe department at NBC. Like, that's who they owe a big debt of gratitude towards.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, when did you realize that you were in this life? Was there like an aha moment or something? Where
Oh yes,
I'm,
yes, sir. I had gone through high school and I had gotten, Adidas runners and Air Max 95s and things like that. Again, the culture in my high school was, I don't want to say predominantly white, it was all white. Where I grew up, there literally were two kids of color that graduated in my class out of 400.
wow.
So the culture there was very Abercrombie and Fitch. Or it was before even Hollister or anything like that came out. So it was very trendy, very Abercrombie and Fitch, very Adidas runner, very Nike runner. Um, and then I kind of got out of it. I went to college and whatever. And one day I was just fiddle farting around on eBay, and I saw the Air Max 180 mid, the Barkley shoe, and I was like, I had those when I was growing up. I didn't know that Nike had retroed. I had completely stopped going to Foot Locker and all that stuff. I just kind of it wasn't a thing anymore. And so I saw those and I was like, wait a second, those are new. How is that shoe that old, brand new? And why is it, why? And I saw people wearing them and I was like, what is this? And that's when I figured out that Nike was retroing shoes. And I was like, holy crap, what else are they retroing? And then I was an adult and I had expendable income. And I went and bought all the shoes that mom told me no. And that's what it was. Like, I literally just got back into the culture just because, or got into the culture because of, I just happened to stumble across something on eBay one day. And it was through In Style Shoes, ISS.
Ah,
And then I found the ISS forum, and holy crap, it was like a kid in a candy store.
yeah.
I was copping sneakers left and right. I was like, and then that was right around when the Jordan 21 came out. That's when I started back up full tilt. And gosh, hadn't so I've slowed down a lot in my older age just because I've got pretty much everything that I want. I'm not one of those, I don't need a Travis Scott shoe, anything that's super hard to get. I'm lazy. I'm super lazy. So if I have to jump through a hoop to get a shoe, not getting it. If I happen to hit on sneakers, great. If I don't, oh well. I know a lot of people get real salty about bots and things like that, and I guess it's an old age thing with me. I'm 41, about to be 42, and I'm like, yeah, if I get it, great. If I don't, there's next time, and I'll try back then.
I got you. I feel like I'm kind of the same. I mean, like for instance, you remember when the Lightning 4 came out in 2006? Like,
Uh
you
huh.
only get it on Jumpman23.com and
Mm-hmm.
250 because it came with some sort of jacket or something. Like the Thunder was 500 because I think it came with a nicer jacket. I just
Right.
those, but I've already accepted in my mind that I may not get them.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of this stuff, and I'm coming up to the point now to where a lot of the stuff that I have in my collection is getting old and brittle.
yeah,
And so I'm having to like pick and choose what I wear, or just come to the fact of, there was a pair, the Jordan 18, yeah, the 18, the black and royal, one of my favorite shoes. That suede was so nice. I love that shoe, but I wore it a couple of times and you could just kind of feel it, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to wear them anymore. And so I have this separate pile of shoes that have been retired just because of old age.
Yeah, I think the only thing, because I was fortunate, I had two of those, and one pair definitely separated. One pair is still intact somehow, but my Olive Fives from 2006.
Oh man, that is a shoe that has eluded me for my life.
Really?
Yes, I have tried several times to get that shoe and just to no avail. And again, I'm not gonna jump through. I'm not gonna pay out the window for it. Um, my wife would kill me if I dropped stupid coin on a shoe. She embraces my sneaker collecting to a point, but then when it comes to, oh, you can either get that shoe or you can have lunch for the week, and I'm going to choose lunch for the week.
Sure.
So,
Where, years ago, bachelor single, I'm living alone.
oh yeah,
I'm
you
like,
know how much ramen I've consumed in my life due to shoes. You know how many times the like I'm literally like calling the electric company, going, "Hey, give me 2 more days till I get paid,"
yeah,
because I spent my electricity money on shoes.
yeah,
And for those that are watching this, don't deny yourself. You've done it too.
hmm For me, it was just spaghetti. Like, it looks like I'm gonna have spaghetti for the next 3 days until
Yep.
give a fuck. I'm getting this shoe.
Yep.
I got no, at the time I didn't have any kids. It's like, well, it's just me. Maybe
Yeah.
mom's house or dad's house to get some one of these nights. So
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I was living in the apartment by myself, and Saturday morning would come around, and that was back when, gosh, back when you could go to the mall and you sneak in with the seniors that would go walk.
mall walkers, yeah.
Mall walkers, and the mall here in town would let the mall walkers in at 6,
hmm
and I would tip the security guy $10, and he'd let me go in, and I would go sit in front of Champs and wait, and I'd be the second or third guy in line because a couple other guys figured out that if you tip the security guy, he'll let you in.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I made friends sitting in line, and again, it's that camaraderie thing. Now you don't get that. You lose out on that with Sneakers app and StockX and Goat and all that stuff. It's too easy. It's just the kids who have money now, and it's
Yep.
not right. You
Yeah.
know, somebody posted, I don't know if you saw it, but somebody posted the guy from Nike Talk wearing the diamond shirt with the Tiffany blue shorts and the Tiffany's.
Walking down the street. Yeah.
Yes. But all the people that were lined up waiting, there were no fights, there were no, yeah, there was a jackass that overdressed himself, but that was the fun part of it, and it's just not there anymore.
Nah. I mean, it's to me, it's only there in certain instances, and it's kind of like Nike has forced you to get into other things. If
Yeah, oh, for sure.
you know what I mean, like, all right, I work for Converse, so I have to wear Converse.
I can always tell when it's your day off because you're wearing something non-Converse.
So yeah, so I've met other people that are really into Chucks, and it's sort of like how it was. It's still not the same, but
Right.
I don't even really like this year on the Jordan side. I just want a pair of Lightning Fours. I want to replace my Midnight Sixes because they're in pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
my Cool Gray 11s are the first Cool Gray 11s, so the bottom is orange.
Oh, okay.
Those are the only like Jordans now. They're coming out with the Mystic Teal Air Max 96 twos. I kind of want those, but because that shoe is what it is, and only people like us
Mm-hmm.
expect it, do I really need to rush for that? You know what I mean? So these are the kind of games I'm playing with myself.
Yeah, and it hurts my feelings when I see the Air Max retros now because the bubbles are so small. Like, you know me, I'm a big Neon 95 guy,
Yes.
and in every incarnation of the Neon 95, whether it's the Vapor Max or the Air Max 360 bottom, all of those. But the last pair that retroed, I didn't get because the bubbles were just so small. I was like, this doesn't. it doesn't even look like the original shoe anymore. You
No.
know, I have a pair of O3s with the big bubbles that are the midsoles are completely destroyed on them now because they're so old. Um,
I got a pair of 99s like that.
yeah, and it just hurts my feelings. Like I get that it's environmentally conscious. I get that, I guess, but it's just not the same. And I don't know.
What I don't get is if you can produce a Vapor Max, a 270, a 720, 2090, you can
Right,
do all of these bubbles. Why can't you do that for those shoes? Like, why?
right,
You know,
right. I am 100% with you on
I just,
that. Another one that hurts my feelings is the Air Max 180. That bubble is so small.
yeah, yeah.
It's just like, again, you're making a 720 or a 270 or, you know, gigantic bubble on a shoe, but you can't throw us a bone on a retro. And another thing, and it drives me absolutely insane, is when, and it's not as bad now, but when they were mass producing like Jordan 4s and, you know, Jordan 3s, where they were doing a colorway a month, but they couldn't get the 4 right. They couldn't get the shape of the shoe right. They couldn't, you know, same thing on the 3. Like, you're Nike, you're a multi-billion-dollar company. You don't have a way to scan a shoe and copy it.
Yeah, like all those fours from 2012 were awful. Like,
Yes, the shape is so bad, and the Air Max ones too. Like now you've got me riled up. Um, but yeah, the Air Max ones, like the shape is so, it's a different shoe.
it's like a banana.
Yes, and I'm like, guys, y'all can't create something that you did in 1990 or in 87. Like, come on, you've got the technology. Don't, you know, you're making, or at the time you were making high end, you know, the best golf clubs in the world. So you've got technology on your side. Why didn't you use some of that technology retroing sneakers and making the collector happy? Like
Yeah.
the shoe collector is like, if you made a pair of white and red Air Max ones in the original shape with the original size bubble, you can't tell me those aren't going to sell out immediately.
Nah, they definitely are. You.
And they could do it for an Air Max day. They could do it for, you know, any occasion, and they would sell immediately. Like, it boggles my mind.
Well, you know, if we're talking about Air Maxes, you know, I've been posting the Air Max 294 for over a.
Yes.
I'm
The day that shoe comes out, you're gonna like have a heart attack or something.
Yeah, I'm to the point now where I told one of my previous guests, I'm like, I think it was actually you, Casta. I'm like, man, they could just come out with it with an Air Max 95 bottom on it with that upper, and I would even be satisfied with that. That's not what I
See,
want.
now you're selling yourself short, sir.
Yeah, because it reminded me of that last Air Max 96 retro that was mainly overseas with the 95 Ultra bottom.
Mm-hmm.
God, I just can't get with it. You know, those go
Yeah.
money now too. I probably should have, but it's all.
Yep. Um, it's just sad. Like, it's like watching somebody that you know they're capable of doing it, but they just won't.
Yeah, I mean, and
It's
then
disappointing.
only the 97 and the 98 resemble how they used to look.
Right. Oh, the 95. Yeah, the 95 has been, pardon my French, it's been bastardized so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 05, 06, you know, was kind of where you were still getting, like, I have some chilies from then.
Mm-hmm.
It's still big. I feel like the bubble is still kind of big on the Human Torch from that Fantastic 4-pack, but
Oh man, I haven't seen that shoe in forever.
yeah, everything else it is small like that, and um, I don't know. And the other thing I'm gonna just say before we before we move on, because we'll be talking about this specific subject all night. Um, with the 95, I feel like they only focus on the neon. Like, where are the comments? Where are the slates?
For
Where
sure.
are the there are other OGs.
I have a pair of slate blues and the bubble popped on them.
Oh man,
It's like walking on a flat tire.
yeah. Like I did, they retroed them in 15, but they were mainly overseas. They didn't
Right.
come out. because I have a pair from 2010 that's Comets and
Yeah, I had a pair of 2010s, and they popped on me.
oh man, like those are mine are both holding on for dear life. I mean, when I look for used pairs, I could find the Comets, but the slates are much harder to find, and I don't even think they've retroed the Emerald.
Yeah, I don't. The only time I've seen the emerald is on the greedy colorway.
Yeah, yeah. Because I had an original pair. Those original 95s lasted for a long time. Like my original neons and those emeralds lasted until like 2011.
Yeah.
With the blow molding and the PSI and all that. So, man, good times. Well,
Yep.
what with if you buy a sneaker nowadays, where are you copping it from? Is it just the internet, or do you have a?
No, you know what? I'll try on sneakers. That's usually my first. If not, I have a very dear friend of mine who is the GM at the Champs here in San Antonio, one of the Champs locations. I'm not gonna divulge which one because I see some of my friends on there and they're gonna get wise to it. So, um, but yeah, no, I'll call him and I'll be like, hey, do you have a pair? So, can you hold it for me? If he says he can't hold it for me, no big deal. It's again, if this was 10 years ago and it was life or death, yeah, I would probably jump through some more hoops. But now I'm like, if I get him, I get him. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah. All right. Um, because we're from the same era. You got me by about a year, but
We're old.
yeah, we're old. What's one shoe that hasn't retro that you would if Nike if you had that
Ooh,
what would it be you bring back?
ooh. The Command Force, the 180 high with the pump with the little dial on the side. You know what I'm talking about? I
Jet.
don't know the exact name of it. The
Yeah.
one that they had tried to retro.
Yeah.
If they would retro it correctly,
Okay.
that's
The
one.
Air Force 180 high. I think it's just
I think that's the name. Air Force 5.
yeah. Because David was wearing them too. Same with
Yep. Yep. I would definitely have a shrine to David Robinson, and I probably need to work on that better. I'm trying to think what else.
man, Air Force.
You know what? If Adidas would retro the D Cool, the Tim Duncan shoe, I still have a pair of those. They're not wearable, but I wore the crap out of those too, and it was because they were climate cool, so they felt weird. But yeah, if Adidas would retro the D Cool, I would definitely get multiple pair.
Now I was gonna ask you, do you have the Duncan one with the plastic hand or the Duncan two?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Those were really hard to come by, and you would think in San Antonio that there would be like more of them, but no, they were super hard to get. And back then, because Adidas was back then, if Nikes you could find on ISS or you could find on Nike Talk in their marketplace, or I'm trying to think of the other one. There was another marketplace, Soul Collector Marketplace,
Mm.
that you could scoop up stuff pretty easily and for good deals, like especially compared to now. Um, but yeah, those shoes were just non-existent. They had the D Cool 2, which Tim was in an ad for wearing them, but then for whatever reason Adidas scrapped them, and I would love to have a pair of those
Yeah.
because those are got to be ridiculously limited.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the Nike Duncan, the one with the plastic hand, like I remember it being at the
Yeah,
and they had a poster for it, but I don't remember anyone buying it.
that shoe is pretty ugly. That's why.
After the Foamposite Max and the first Foamposite Pro, yeah, it was ugly. But I would wear it now just because
Oh, I would wear it now. Yeah, for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think the last shoe I remember him wearing that was a Nike before he switched to Adidas was probably the Ultra Flight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the last one, and they were all black. So if you weren't one of us, you wouldn't even know what it was.
No.
I don't remember him wearing any shocks or anything.
Yeah, no, yeah, the Alpha Project was more for Vince and for
Gary Payton and
yeah, Peyton and that group.
yeah, KG. Yeah, I remember the little cartoon ads they had because they had one with Tim and they had one with KG, one with
Uh-huh.
Jason Williams. It was like rap, and they were like, so I know you're gonna remember all this stuff, so it's good to talk.
Yeah, the best Tim Duncan commercial outside of the local car dealerships and the HEB commercials he does down here was the one he did with Kobe. The Sprite commercial.
Oh, when they were rapping with Missy, I remember that.
Yes, yes. That was one of my favorite Tim commercials.
Now, mine it's a little more random. Mine is probably the one where it's a Nike commercial where it's really KG and they're all on the playground, and at the end, Tim comes up with like all these,
Yeah, all the kids.
he didn't even have to say anything. He's like, oh, that's Tim Duncan. He looks the same all the time. So, that's probably my favorite one. Probably that one. Um, that one with Kobe is good. And they had another one too where you could win like their jerseys or something. It was a Sprite. It was that commercial. I think it was Kobe, Tim Duncan, and maybe Juwan Howard, where you could like win their jerseys. It was around the same time as that other commercial.
Okay.
97, 98. But yeah, that's a good one. I actually saw that one posted on Instagram. I might have to post it and tag you to it. So
now, okay, I got one for you. What's the best Nike commercial of all time?
just one.
Gotta pick one.
You know what? I'm gonna pick my I'm not gonna pick a Jordan commercial because that's too easy. My favorite one that's not a Jordan commercial is Barkley on Broadway for the Air Ballistic Force.
Okay.
And he never even shoot, so that's why it's so random, But him rapping with Chuck D's voice, like, yeah, I'll go with that one. What about?
Okay. Mine has to be the one where they had the Street Ballers mixed with like white chocolate and Rasheed Wallace, and where they dribbled the ball to the music and doing all the moves. I can't remember the exact name of the commercial, but that one still is my favorite one.
They even made that into a music videos. I remember seeing it on BET.
Yep.
Looking at videos. Yep. Another one would be they had a bunch of CF commercials in 2006 that were really short and random. It was one with LeBron, one for Dirk, one for Earl Boykins, and they had one for Rasheed.
Oh boy, they missed on that one, huh?
Yeah, and it was the only Rasheed Nike commercial I could think of. I may wear some Rasheeds tomorrow and post just so I can post the commercial, but it's so many of them, man. It's hard to pick just one. My favorite Jordan is the Frozen Moment, even though it's against the Lakers, but the Frozen Moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one is pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the actual game, but I'm like, nah, it can't be, But yeah. Well, do you have any holy grails that I know you got mostly everything you want, but is there a holy grail, a shoe you just haven't
I'm gonna, you know what? As random as it sounds, the Band-Aid SB. I'm a sucker for gray colorways.
Nah, that was clean.
And then now that SBs have gotten so ridiculously priced for no reason.
Yeah, especially low tops. Before it was the high. Now,
yeah, SB lows and Dunk lows. I remember those would just sit on the shelf.
Yeah.
And like I could walk into the local skate shop, and there used to be a skate shop here in town called Good Times, and they closed up shop. Rest in peace, Good Times. But I could go in like a week later and just pick up my size. I didn't have to call anybody. I didn't have to, hey man, can you hold this for me? Or I just walk in, and they were super nice guys there. They after 2 or 3 pickups, they knew me by name, and their service was excellent. And you could just get Dunk lows no problem. Now it's ridiculous. Like it's easier to find Dunk lows for my wife than it is for me, because she still wears kid sizes.
Oh man. That's got to be. See, my wife is using that.
She wears a 5Y.
Oh man,
So it's easy.
yeah, that's easy. Because she doesn't even really wear a popular grade school size, so
Right.
that makes it even. That's tight. That's
Yeah, she's right in that sweet spot where, like, and I'll ask her, like, if I want something, I'll be like, do you want these? And she'll be like, well, will they have them in my size? I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna have them in your size.
But you remember,
So yeah,
they used to
yeah.
all grade school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. I never thought Jordan 1s would be the Jordan, and I never thought Dunks would come back the way they have. I never thought.
Oh man,
Happen.
like I don't like that. Like I remember when Jordan 1s weren't that big of a deal, and you could get them for retail or sometimes less.
Yeah,
and that was nice. Now you can't. And they've come up with some ridiculous colorways too, like the shattered backboard. Like I don't know how many iterations of that colorway they're gonna have, but what are we on, the 3 shattered backboard 3?
yeah, and tons
Or 4 or something like that.
the 3, yeah.
Oh man, this, like, you're gonna, one day they're gonna run out of ideas. I promise.
I really think it's already started because I feel like a lot of the new colorways especially on Jordans, again, a lot of them were probably from before, either a previous retro series or maybe even the OG run that they just never came out with. Like all these 13s that are coming out that are, instead of it being black and red, it's black and blue or black and purple. I feel like they made all of them in 97, 98. And, or, we made these for Mike Bibby in 2003. Why don't we just come out with them, take his logo off? So that's what I think is happening now. So I think they're already started running out of.
Yeah. Mike Bibby PEs were the best because I could wear them.
Size 12.
Size 12.
Yep.
Yeah, those were the best. Like, and back then, finding PEs back when it was a true PE, like only Mike Bibby wore that shoe, not, oh, we're gonna make this colorway for about 10 NBA guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Mike Bibby PEs were the best because you could wear them.
Yeah, because I mean, even when they started really having House of Hoops, it's like, yeah, it's a PE, but you can still buy it. It's not like that. What you talking that? Yeah, like ain't nobody buying those. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like with the size tag didn't have a barcode on it.
Yeah, it was that promo sample.
The promo sample tag. Like I have in this massive pile of crap I got behind me, I have a couple that still have that, and so that made them special. Not, oh, it has just a regular tag. It's just a limited colorway. Well, that means that somebody else has it, and there was no exclusivity.
Yeah, like I used to get fortunate that I used to find promo sample LeBrons.
Oh yeah, you guys in Cleveland got all the juice because I know Kevin.
Yeah,
he had all of the colorways that were just, for a guy in South Texas, were incredibly hard to find, but Kevin just be having them everywhere, and I was always really jealous of him because he had all the cool colorways.
Yeah, I mean, and he was really the only one like that had it. I mean, I found a few promo sample 8s, and I found some Glorias, but I still never quite had them like how he has them.
And I love the Gloria, like the white and pink.
Mm-hmm.
The Gloria was a super cool shoe.
The only thing with the Glorias was that because I found a couple, but I never could find them where I could wear them. It was always like they were made for her. It would be a 6.5 or a 6.
Oh yeah.
It's like I show them at when Kevin would have the Cleveland's Got Soul, and people would buy them. I'd be able to sell them. It's like, well, I can't do anything with it. And at the time, I didn't have anything set up where I'd have like a case or anything. I kind of wish I had some of that stuff now, but it's all good.
Yep. And Kevin and all those guys from Cleveland, they came down for a couple of sneaks ups, and just super cool, straight up guys. I always enjoyed hanging out with them.
Yeah, he was the only person to ever get me to display my stuff in the show because I didn't really realize how much work that was until I did it a few times.
Oh, it's such a beating.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, just keeping track of everything, and do I bring both shoes, and
No, I'd only bring lefts.
yeah, just like the shoe store, just the lefts.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what's the shoe that you have that you need to unds?
My white and fire red fives.
Okay. Okay.
I have, and the only reason I haven't is because I have two other releases. I have the countdown pack, and then the one right after that one, and then these. I'll wear them sometime. I'm sure I'll have a special occasion or something like that. Um, there's a I have a couple of pairs of Command Forces that I'll probably never unds just because of the sentimental value of it.
Sure.
I wear my Hoyle. I have a pair of Hoyles that I wear. I'll probably keep the Hyper Jades dead stock. I'm not one for doing that. I'm a big wear your shoes guy, except for that shoe. That's the one I probably wouldn't.
That was gonna be my next question. I'm like, is there a shoe you wouldn't unds? But I need to find the Hyper Jade. I had them saved. I had them behind underneath my desk at exhibition, and somebody wanted them, and I was like, yeah, you can get them, man. I needed to make that day, so. But I kind of regret letting them go, because I can't really find them for less than 250 in a 11 and a half or a 12. So
Really?
yeah, they go for, even those bullshit colors go for nice money if they're in good shape.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's kind of like during the pandemic, people that were sort of into sneakers, or maybe people into sneakers, it's like they forgot that the 90s was cool or something. Because all of those Nike basketball, and especially the trainers, like they go for stupid money now. It's what I call the sneaker vortex. How a shoe will come out, and it won't be about you having the money. It'll be about you being able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many shoes like that. Mainly trainers, just a few runners, a few basketball shoes. But once it goes into that vortex, it's ugly.
Yeah, it's a black hole.
Like I'll tell you a shoe that's like that for me now, because my '01 pair crumbled, was the Fab Five Barkley, the Force Max B. That
Yep.
black and gray one is hard to find in good shape. And it's like, well, it came out in 13. I could have bought it then, but I was like, well, my '01 pair is still good. And about a year after that, they crumbled. So
yeah, And I'm like that now. Like I'll see stuff, and I'm like, oh, I still have the last retro on that, so I'll pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like with that Fire Red 5 from last year, I ended up buying a pair, and I didn't know that my wife had bought a pair, and then she didn't know that I had two pairs of the 2013s. So that once that was found out, that was a fun conversation.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's why I haven't gotten around to wearing the latest releases, because I have the 13s and I have the countdown packs, and they're still in good shape, and I still wear my Taxi 12s from the countdown pack.
Yeah.
I have yet to, and it's going to be a sad day, but when those countdown pack shoes start to crumble, because I bought almost all of it. I did buy all the countdown packs.
The only one that's really started for me, where it's just a little bit, but I can tell, is my Carmines. But I wore the fuck out of them. Like my 2014 pair looks like one of the new pairs, you know what I mean? Because I just wear the '08 pair. Because to me, certain shoes, like with those being yellow and everything, they look like they could be from '91. So with a lot of outfits, those look better than like a fresh pair. A lot of people don't get that. Like,
For sure. I'm that way with Jordan 1s. Like, I don't like a fresh pair of Jordan 1s. I like to see, and I guess with like Ucasta and some of the guys in Sneaks Up that are big OG Jordan 1 collectors, like I'm used to seeing them all beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I relate a Jordan 1 to. So when I wear my Jordan 1s, I just beat them. Because I like a weathered look to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even with the 5, like that Fire Red 5, like both of my pairs from 13 really look the same, where I really don't need to have two, but the yellowing just looks good to me in certain shoes. Now, it doesn't look good on an 11, but 5,
right.
6, I just love how it looks. So I'm with you on that. Now, what's the shoe that's a classic shoe from our era that everybody loves that you just don't fuck with?
A classic shoe from our era. I don't know. There's so many.
Like, well, I'll give you one. As much as I love that Force Max B, that Force Max CB Barkley with like the strap where it almost looks the same. That's probably one of mine where I can't get with it the same.
Yeah, guys. There's a lot. Trying to narrow it down. That's yeah. For me, that's a tough one.
You know, another one that I don't really. I never was a big 9 or 10 guy with the Jordans. I mean, I love the 9 a little bit more now than I did because after it was cool as the 7 and the 8 were when the 9 came out, I was like, this is the Jordan. It's just white and black. Where's the colors? I remember thinking that, my 13-year-old mind. So, yeah, I'm not a big 9 or a 10 guy.
I guess for me, it's the 8. I'm not a big 8 guy. And again, it's due to laziness. That shoe takes half an hour to put on, and I ain't got time for that. And same thing for air raids. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to have and I know you're on the same boat with this. I would love to have a true to form pair of piece raids. Whatever that was that they threw out a couple years ago. Again, I saw a picture of it, and I'm like, okay, I guess. And then I saw it in person, and I was like, no, thank you. So a pair of piece raids would be another one that I would like to have on my list. My hit list is very short.
Yeah. What else is on it?
Ooh.
I can give you mine quick.
Yeah, give me yours while I'm thinking about mine as I'm looking at my wall of crap.
Other than that, Air Max 294. I would love for them to retro the Air Check. They probably never will. The Air Force 2 Espo.
Okay. God, I haven't heard or thought about that sneaker in years.
Yeah, so those, the Kashima Air Max 97s, which we had those at exhibition in Cleveland, and I didn't buy them. They actually went on sale. But I just thought they were going to be there. The first stash Air Force One highs, the beige kind of color.
Okay.
A pair of original black and red ones from '85.
Okay. See, and I guess that's one thing, and I've said this before with some of the Sneaks Up friends, but like and I'm sure you're in this group too. I've seen or picked up and held literally everything. Like, there honestly isn't a shoe that truly impresses me or wows me, because of through all of the years of doing this and the amazing friends that I've made and their collections. Like, the Sakura Ueno that just popped up that they may or may not retro.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy's got a pair. And I'm sure if I went to his house, I could pick them up and look at them anytime I wanted. And that would be a shoe that I don't think I would wear. It's too much of a dirt magnet.
Yeah.
With that suede. But the shoes like that, and I mean, there's really not, it's like somebody had a friend of mine who was stationed in Dubai, or no, I'm sorry, he was stationed in Afghanistan, but he would go to Dubai a lot. And he would come back and tell me, like, no car impresses him because he has literally seen every super mega hypercar that there is. And I'm not that way with shoes. Like, I've literally seen everything.
I get you. Yeah, I mean, all these shoes that I'm naming to you, I kind of feel the same. I feel you on that. Like, when I look at somebody's collection, I want to see versatility. You're not going to with everything that just came out from now going back to maybe 2015 or whatever. That's cool, but
Yeah, I've seen every one of those sneakers on the sneakers app, or I've seen every one of those sneakers on, on somebody's feet or whatever.
Yeah, it's sort of like I was telling my son. I was like, I've been watching basketball enough where I've seen every NBA team be really good, and I've seen every NBA team be really bad. And it's kind of like that with sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when dunks, like I was fortunate where I got a bunch of old SB dunks that I wanted right before the dunk boom started back. I was buying them like 17, 18, 19. And then, last
Okay.
it came back. Not too many, but I got about 10 that I wanted that I just never was able to get. But I shudder to think how that would be now. But I definitely feel you on that. I like how you put that. You've seen everything. You've seen everything be sought after. You've seen that same stuff be where nobody cares about it. So it's all the same.
Yeah, like how many people have seen the Deftones dunk in person? How many people have seen the head automatic Air Force One?
Whew, that's a grail.
Yeah. Like when you see them on a semi-regular basis,
Yeah.
they kind of lose grail status, at least for me. Like,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's a super popular shoe, or that's a really a really cool sneaker, but my buddy in the crew has that shoe, so it and it's awesome that he's got it, but it kind of loses its potency for me.
Nah, I got it. I've never seen a pair of head automaticas in person. I've only seen them on online and in books. So
when the Kickspo or the Deadstock crew from Dallas, they had their show on the field at Cowboy Stadium at AT&T Stadium. Franelations, they got Franelations to come down. He brought his. I was like, okay, cool. Check that off my list. Like, I've seen that shoe now. That's super cool. Or, there's a guy in sneaks that JD Beltran. He had the Deftones dunks for a little while. Like that's badass. Like, cool. Check that off my bucket list to see.
Yeah. Oh, one other shoe on my list that I really should have, but now they're hard to find too, are those Milk Crate Blazers. I've kind of given up.
Oh yeah, okay, for sure.
I've given up on those. I mean, you never know, but I highly doubt that. I'll get them for what I'd be willing to pay. There's parts of
I'm sure
down to where they're affordable, but those Milk Crates are still, still high. Well, what direction do you see your collection going in the future?
Gosh, slow but sure. Like if there's something that really catches my eye, like, but there's just not. Again, there's not really anything catching my eye now. There would have to be definitely a design, and a lot of my stuff now, because I have all of the retros that I really want. New stuff like the Air Max shoes, the 200. Is it the 200?
That's like there's
like the 200 to me. Like if they ever did that, they could put a Ultramarine 180 upper on it with that bottom. That would look cool.
It looks almost the same.
I would buy that in a second. Another pair of Ultramarine 180s because mine blew up.
That's also a dirt magnet shoe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My Talarias are super dirt magnets too. Like I can just walk from my house to the truck and they got grass all on them.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any regrettable sneaker purchases that
you see that? All of that is regrettable.
Nah. See, what is that? An Airbag Zero box back there?
There's a couple Air Max Zero boxes.
Okay.
I have both the Quick Strikes.
Nice. Yeah, I just got the first ones. All right.
That yellow pair there is an autographed pair from George Hill. He gave those to me.
Wow.
When he was playing with Indiana.
Wow.
I didn't even ask for him. He was just like, "Here, have these," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah, George Hill's super cool too. Well, I like all the other NBA guys.
Yeah.
You know which ones I really like right now are the those New Balance right there.
Are those the Kawhi?
I'll just get them.
The Kawhis.
Well, these are the ones that DeJounte Murray wears.
Oh.
Again, Spurs fan. Yeah, I wouldn't get the Kawhi shoe. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad juju right there. But yeah, he. I really like those. I got them for a good price, and I like them. That they're definitely a comfortable shoe that I can wear. I wear a lot of my shoes to work all day.
Okay.
So that's definitely one I can wear.
All right. Before I ask you, before we talk more about sports, did you have anything else you want to go over with sneakers? Or did you have any questions for me for the sneakers?
Nah.
Okay. Okay. So,
Hit me up with some hot sports opinions.
well, I will start off with the question. I mean, you guys with San Antonio, where do y'all go from here?
I have no idea. The if they draft another guard, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna take all these jerseys down. I'm gonna burn them. I'm gonna quit. There's no reason for the Spurs to draft another guard. But this Primo kid that they drafted is supposed to be really good. So
Yeah.
I wish the Spurs would really just, I don't want to say mail it in is not the word I'm looking for, but if you're gonna rebuild. Don't fiddle around and get a number 12 draft pick every year, because that's not life changing or franchise changing. If you wanna rebuild. I feel that this is Pop's last year. Pop has, I think he's 30 games behind Don Nelson for the all-time win record.
Wow.
As soon as he gets that, he's done. That's the only thing that's in front of him that he needs. He's got a gold medal now. He's got 5 championships. I don't think there was always the rumor that he wanted to win one without Tim, but I don't buy that. I mean, he's got 5. I think the last thing that he wants on his mantle is the all-time win record. He's already got the playoff win record. He's got every winning record that's possible except for that.
He has more playoff wins than Pat Riley and Phil Jackson?
I think.
Huh.
Don't quote me on that.
Nah, I mean, he's.
And now when I log off, I'm gonna go look at it, because I was under that impression, but I may be wrong.
And Liddy Wilkins too. But hey, I mean, Pop's been around for a long time. I mean, when I really think about it, the Spurs haven't really rebuilt.
No, they're just treading water, and it's stop. Like,
well, I mean,
just rebuild.
I think y'all were fortunate, because it was kind of like, all right, the last time I remember the Spurs was when I was just getting into basketball at the end of the 80s, because they were waiting for David Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that, I mean, the best player y'all had after Gervin was probably Alvin Robertson.
Yeah, when he wasn't fighting child support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, you get David Robinson, 89, 90. He gets hurt 96, 97, so you all end up with the number 1 pick. So, going all the way back to the 80s, y'all never really had to really rebuild. It was like y'all seamlessly kind of went through each era, like.
Yeah, you get that life-changing or franchise-changing number 1. You get that 1-1. Don't forget the year after we got, or the year that David played, we also got Sean Elliott with the number 3 pick.
That's true. Sean Elliott is very underrated. I still remember.
Yeah, Sean Elliott from Arizona.
I remember watching that game where y'all were playing Portland, and his feet, like if his feet.
Memorial Day Miracle.
Yeah,
I can tell you, that's another one. I can tell you exactly where I was when that shot fell through.
Wow. Oh man. Well, all right. So we talk about the Lakers because you brought
Okay.
now. I've never been a fan of big free agent acquisitions. I wanted the Lakers to get good again, the way Golden State and the Thunder had got good, where they just
Mm-hmm.
developed their players.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the short.
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean it's way too late now. I mean, when we got Karl Malone and Gary Payton, I knew it wasn't going to work. When we got Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, I knew it wasn't going to work. I wasn't really a big fan of LeBron leaving Cleveland because of so much that he meant to, Cleveland. Because even though I'm Cleveland everything except basketball, I really wanted him to just be on the Cavs. I never wanted him to go to the Lakers. And he got us a championship. Okay. But this Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Carmelo, it's just too much. Like
It's the same thing.
It's just too much. It's too much, and I can't not support the Lakers.
Right.
But I'm
It's tough.
already thinking about what about the future?
What did you sacrifice long term for short term?
I mean, for what I feel like we sacrificed, like I never wanted to get rid of Brandon Ingram. I really didn't care either way about Lonzo. When I see Lonzo, I just think, man, we could have had Donovan Mitchell. But
this is true.
LeBron is and I hate to say this, but he's like a franchise killer. You're going to win right now. You may win right now, but he's going to hamper your franchise for the future because he's going to want what he wants, and you've got to get what he wants or else.
And it's up to your front office to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, none of those guys are Jerry West, but I have more faith in Rob Pelinka than if Mitch Kupchak was still the GM of the Lakers. But still, I don't really like this. I don't like this NBA in general. So the Lakers Nets are just the biggest part of that. Think of how basketball was when we grew up. It was fun.
For sure.
You might not win. I mean, the Bulls, but even that, you might not win.
But you didn't have everybody running to the Bulls to play.
That's
after the Bulls won the first championship. It wasn't like David Robinson demanded, I want out of my contract because I'm going to go play in Chicago, or Karl Malone, oh no, screw this, I'm going to Chicago. You didn't have that. Charles Barkley didn't have that. Reggie Miller, those guys didn't jump ship like everybody does now, and it's kind of exhausting. And I'm not saying that because I'm not trying to hate on just the Lakers, but they are the prime example.
They're the Yankees.
Jimmy Butler trying to recruit players to Miami. Back then you didn't have players recruiting other players. There was no, hey, come play with me, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
No, Larry Bird would not entertain that offer. Like, Larry Bird would say, you know what, go screw yourself. I'm going to stay in Boston and I'm going to kick your ass just for thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was diversity. Like, one year the Lakers would win. One year the Celtics would win.
Mm-hmm.
Mix in the Bulls every now and then, and there was diversity. Now it's this year was entertaining to me because you had new blood.
Yeah.
This year was more entertaining to me from an overall basketball standpoint. Yes, my team sucked and is going to continue to suck for a while until they decide to truly rebuild. But I enjoyed seeing Phoenix and Milwaukee play. It was something different.
Yeah. It wasn't the Lakers or and then I don't know. I find myself looking more and more back. We've known each other online for years, so I find myself just looking at more Showtime and Shaq and Kobe stuff than I do LeBron and them.
Oh yeah.
That was basketball. So,
Yep.
so okay. As far as Dallas bringing Dak on, you know what I mean, long term, how do you feel about that?
I am a massive Dak Prescott guy.
Okay.
Yeah, you really, I mean, last year, with the ankle and everything, and last year was just, the defense was so bad last year, historically bad.
I mean, but y'all are in the East.
I like Dan Quinn. I've been watching Hard Knocks religiously, so I really like Dan Quinn. I think I thought it was an absolutely a breath of fresh air that they took nothing but defensive players in the draft. Like that shows that they actually want to fix the problem.
Okay. Do you think that the Cowboys would be better if they weren't in the division that they're in, since it's such an easy division to play in?
No.
Okay.
I think a lot of it has to do with the owner / GM. And so one day hopefully the it's never going to happen while Jerry's alive, but maybe when Steven takes over, he will hire an actual GM. That's always been my hope. But as long as Jerry's still, as long as the owner and the GM are still there, the owner's not going to fire the GM.
Fair enough. I like how you put that. Oh, man. All right. You've been a Cowboys fan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is going back a little bit, but how did you feel about them acquiring Dion when they did back when we were?
Oh, that was so great. That's another shoe I would like to have with retroed properly is the Air Max DT.
Yeah, they've never brought it back right.
No,
the black.
It's the original one had sparkles in the
Yes.
in the air bubble, and that was super cool. And they've never done it right since. I love Dion. I love Dion from a marketing standpoint. I love Dion from a player standpoint. I love Dion from a believer in Christ standpoint. I mean, Dion's been my guy for a long time.
Yeah. I'm glad what you said about the DT Max 3. I don't know why they changed the name. I mean, I know Dion and Nike aren't on the same page right now.
Right, because he's Under Armour.
Yeah. But that DT Max 3, because I had an original black pair that I may still actually have it. A lot of my stuff is scattered from the relocation. But the black one, it was like gold. It wasn't even yellow. Like now it's just yellow. It was like gold.
Mm-hmm.
First one.
It was gold.
And, his face was in the air bubble. I could live without that being there. All right, that's not there. But the red pair also was like
the San Francisco pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Atlanta pair, the San Francisco pair, and the Dallas pair.
Yeah, and they never retroed the Dallas pair.
Nope.
Like, where is that with the silver and the blue and the white? Like, some of these shoes, as cheap as I've become in my old age, some of the stuff I buy full price. Like, because the last retro of the red one, I'm like, all right, they got it right where the color blocking is right, but there's still no gradient. There's still no gold. Like, it's still not right. And this is the third or fourth retro of this shoe. Like, how much, how long does it take? Some retros they get right away.
Yep.
And
some they don't. Makes no sense.
Like last year when they retroed the Air Metal Max, it looked like the pair from in the bubble was slightly smaller, but it looked like the original pair. So that was when I had to break down what the sneaker vortex was to my wife, because she's into sneakers, but she's into, she was mainly into runners at the time. She's kind of developed her palate since then, but
Gotcha.
It wasn't a new runner. She's just like, whatever. But I'm like, I have to get these. They're gonna go in a vortex and I'll never see them again. So,
yep.
Oh man, you got any hot sports takes for me?
No, not really. I'm just excited for football.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I I don't know. Like, I'm actually nervous for this season because, I mean, being a Browns fan, I mean, it's been a long time since we've been
Yeah, it has.
good. I mean, the late '80s doesn't, that was a long time ago. So I just hope that, 'cause I feel like we should have beat Kansas City, and we would have been in the AFC Championship game. We probably would have beat Buffalo because, I mean, we still never been to an actual Super Bowl. So
It's
that
true.
it happens before I got to see the Cavs win. Hopefully, the Browns will win the Super Bowl before I pass.
I have been very fortunate. All of my teams have won championships where I was of age to enjoy them. My the Spurs winning 5 was super cool, but my favorite, and as much of a basketball fan I'm still a baseball nerd first.
Okay.
So I'm a big Red Sox fan. I got to see the Red Sox, and again, that's my dad. When I was growing up, my dad would root for one team, and so I'd root for the opposite just because. Um, and that started off with he grew up in the late 50s, early 60s, so there were no sports teams in Texas, so he rooted for the Yankees, and he's been a lifelong Yankee fan, so I had to root for the Red Sox. He was a Cowboy fan back in the day, so I cheered for the Oilers.
Oh, okay.
So it was just because, but I became a Cowboy fan pretty quickly after they started winning Super Bowls.
Sure.
Um,
'90s teams, man. Whew.
those '90s teams were something else. Um, so that's just how we were. Like we would pick sports fights against each other. Now we both rooted for the Spurs. So that was the hometown team, but it was, I remember when Aaron Boone hit the home run off of Pedro,
Yeah.
and my dad's standing there pointing at me, laughing at me as I'm literally crying. That's just how we were.
Yeah. Fucking Pedro. He was something.
Grady Little should have never put him in, but whatever.
Yeah.
See, what's up, Ant Dog? I see you.
All right. I need to tell you the Spur I hate the most before we.
Okay, give me.
It's a lot. I hated Bruce Bowen, but he's one of them players like Patrick Beverly, where you hate him, but if he's on your team, you love him. But for me, because he was lucky, it was a fluke. Fucking Jaren Jackson Sr.
Ooh, okay,
Like
okay.
1999. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, that was kid in the league, but yeah, I mean, he was giving the Lakers everything they could handle. He was cooking Kobe, Glenn Rice. He was going off like, but Kobe got his back. I don't know if you remember on Christmas of '99, after y'all had won the championship, we played y'all, and Kobe got a really nice dunk on Jaren Jackson. But that still didn't take the pain away, and y'all eliminating us the way y'all did, just sweeping us like we wasn't nothing, closing down the Great Western Forum. Jaren Jackson,
yeah,
he's the one I hate the most.
Jaren Jackson Sr. Yeah.
Now,
gosh, I remember that.
Is there anybody else you hate on the level of Derek Fisher?
Not really. He's got a special place in my heart. No, just him. As far as Lakers go, I am not a big Kevin Garnett fan. I never have. I will completely. His talent was undeniable, but just the way he carried himself and the way he would talk to, or he took trash talking, like he crossed a line, I guess. I had the very fortunate pleasure one time, we had courtside seats at the Alamo Dome when the Sonics were in town, and I got to hear Gary Payton, and that was a masterclass in trash talking.
Ooh, I can only imagine, man.
We were within earshot of most of it, and it was special. It was very F-bomb laden and whatever, but it was a special type of trash talking. But yeah, I'm trying to Garnett when Garnett told Tim Happy Mother's Day the year after his mom died.
Ugh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, you have to look up that one. Now, I'm sure there's an article somewhere on it, but yeah, Tim was shooting a free throw, and Garnett belted out Happy Mother's Day, and it was the first Mother's Day after Tim's mom had died.
Damn, that is awful. Ugh.
He called Charlie Villanueva a cancer patient,
I
right?
do remember that.
Yeah, it's just like there's trash talking, and then there's going beyond, and to me that was a little much.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oof. I also want to say, just right quick before I forget, I really hated when Robert Ory left us to come play for y'all for championships. I mean, remember that shot in 2003 that should have fell and it like rimmed in and rimmed out.
Yeah, rimmed out. That's right.
He went Georgia right after that. I'm like, damn, but yeah, I can't think of anybody else I dislike. Oh, Malik Rose used to piss me off too, because he was always in the mix, doing some ill stuff. But he was like Bruce Bowen, where it's like, yeah, if he was on the Lakers, we would love him. If he was on the Cavs, we would love him. So, but he's off too. So, but I appreciate you only hating Derek Fisher, only for that shot.
Yeah, I always like Shaq. Like Shaq has done bits his whole life. So if you just chalk it up to he's doing a bit when he's talking trash about your city or whatever, you just let it go. Like Kobe Bryant, like I loved Kobe Bryant 78 games a year.
Yeah.
Only the 4 when he played against San Antonio is where I hated him.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, it's kind of how I felt about y'all. Like I used to respect y'all, and again, I used to have to see when the Lakers would play the Spurs. That was like must see TV for me. But I always respected y'all and the way that y'all would win systematically. You just pick everything apart, because there was certain years where I'm like, well, we ain't winning this.
Yeah.
Those years after Shaq, before Gasol and Derek Fisher came back. Like 04 and 07, I knew it was like, well, we ain't winning these. We might have won, but not the other 3. So, but yeah, man. Well, look, I really appreciate you being on here, Billy. I really.
Hey, no problem, man.
Went over a little bit, but I just enjoyed talking to you. And
I don't know, it's okay.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna definitely be in touch. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And I'll be in touch with you soon.
Yes, sir. All right, man.
All right. Peace.
All right.